Okay, so should be live now. Hello. Uh, Here is the structure that I've been working on most recently, and that is. Oh wait, where does this actually connect? I forget when I take this apart that there is sort of an end to it. Okay, this is the sort of structure I've been messing with, and how this functions is you have these. Let's unhook this. These folded sheets of paper that when they are flat across, I'll just take this one apart. I haven't actually done too much of explaining the layout of this. So you have this folded sheet of paper that has a larger rectangular area, and then it comes down, goes across, creates a little tab, and then or a little insert slit cut right there, and then it goes out and over here, and there's also a hole right along here, and that combines with these shapes, these little things. And how those function is they insert into here, it pushes up, and there's enough clearance in this little rotation tab to where it sits in place there. And this insert here and those little tabs work together to where you place this in here, and when it's in that little cut, it gives you enough clearance to go over the top and then settle down in here. This is actually to get this working, but it does those sort of in sequence with one another. So that goes down, and then they all come together, and they fold up and fold out. And the insert tab acts as a pivot point, and there's enough clearance here to where it avoids that angle, and you get that going. Anyway, issue with this previous iteration is that it works fine having gravity keep these in place going facing down, but when it comes to the bottom ones in that situation, all these flaps sort of just fall down. And what I want is I want them to stay in place in a circle so that ultimately things sort of push together like this. And you have a circle from a single folded thing, and I need to adjust the edges of it, but it would be that like there's a cover and it closes. So a couple things that I adjusted. I forgot that I had put in a buffer sort of thing. I made the space between each of these just slightly larger, so I removed that element. I went in, and when I was just doing testing sort of stuff, in order to have this tab slide smoothly into that insert sort of space, I added a curve, and I just sort of did it on the fly, but I wanted to have it be adaptive, so I put in a formula that works with that. I also was curious about just if I could figure out mathematically how to make it have a better clearance for when these tabs are, these sort of sections are going around here. So I have that cut out. I'm gonna separate it and attach it and do all that good stuff and see how it all goes, and then refine measurements. So this is cut out using my Cricut cutter, and the next stage is just taking it all off. I'm gonna do this in 2 stages. First one is the center pages, just taking those and putting them all together. Then I'll fold them and tape them together. Eventually it would be stitched together, but it's a lot faster to just tape them as a trial sort of thing. So for that, there's a score line across the middle of these, so just fold them. So already I might need to adjust sort of how wide this little pivot guy is to make it less of an issue. Easiest way to tape these is to take half of them, tape them on one side. These are 1 inch wide, and these have an orientation now. There's a slight curve. And I'm going to have a curve on the bottom. These are 1 inch wide, and if I put a piece of tape, it'll alternate which side they're taped on, so everything works out fine. No. Easier to tape. It's fresh and such. Anyway, tape half of them on one side and then tape the other half on the other side. What is this? Okay, like this. And I'll leave one blank, because I don't need tape on the last piece. So it's like this. This goes on this side. And then you can tape them together and then go to the next one. Before I tape this last one, I'm just going to stamp the date. And now let's see how these all attach together using the tabs. I don't know if it'll be perfect, but... So now I'm going to get the tabs. These also now have an orientation. Before they were symmetrical along this center axis, but now for that little curve that I built in to help with inserting them, makes it so they do have a direction to them. They're not perfectly symmetrical along that line anymore. Insert and slide. Insert, slide. Something that I'm generally concerned about is the weakness of this point. Now it has even less material there, so it's not as structurally strong as it was before I made this tab a little bit wider. So I'll see how it goes. I'll probably adjust that before any sort of final work is done. But for the time being, stuff's alright. To test how the measurements of everything go. Also, the cuts on this aren't like crazy precise. They're pretty good, but there's some variation from one page in one piece to the next. That feels like I just got close to tearing that. Yeah, that's much better than it was before there was a curve. So let's see how... that's... yeah, that just lightly goes across. Gives you just enough. I'm curious how these either do or don't latch in place. There's a little worse of a connection point. Do latch a tiny bit, which is good. There's enough clearance for it. Only once it's latched. Okay, that's something to consider. This needs to be a little bit more space around for that. Could also potentially function on their own, but then I don't think it folds up. Yeah, I need more clearance there. Okay, that's something to know. I got a little bit too tight on the clearance that I have for this little tab for the folding, so that now when you press, it doesn't want to clear anything. It clears fine when it's pulled out, but not before that point. Yeah, overall these tabs are a little bit of their own issue. But it could be a different mechanism to hold things in place. Yeah, these are real weak. And they will not open very well. These measurements are fine for the placement of things to latch everything together. And they are not very likely to come apart on their own, but just prepping things, they're far too weak. My desire to have things be a little less loose means that this is structurally more sound as a circle, but worse as a book. And trying to find a happy place in between. Because this is not going to unfold very easily on its own. Or I guess actually fold. And whether or not this looks better visually if it's symmetrical. Yeah, little latches aren't doing anything. What's keeping these held in place is the overlap here. So this functions in its current state not as a book, but it does function as an interesting structure. So, come on, slide down. Yeah, these are just pulling at things. They aren't actually holding in place at all. They are and they aren't, but as a circle, this is pretty solid. Like I can put some pressure on it and it holds its thing. Okay, so issues that have come up with this guy. When it comes to this tab form, it's fine as its own thing. This edge needs to come out further. This tab over here needs to be shorter so that I can make the cut that it is inserted into, make that smaller, and make this insert up here larger, because the intent is that this lands in place and it holds, which it does, but just barely. It doesn't fall in there, which means that I might need to also make this just a tad thicker as well. So that does that. Another option, if I want to try it, is that I can move this just a hair over here so that there's a little bit more material between let me try it. So that there's a little bit more material between these cutout spaces. I think I have the like paper play. If need be, I can lengthen the tab guy. I can make these guys a little bit wider. The main issue is these aren't falling into place and these are super weak. Like if I play with this a little bit, it's going to tear, so it's not functional. The other thing that is the primary concern right now is this isn't going to fold. Like, see, it's got essentially no give because these keep latching into each other. You can unfold it when you know what's happening, but it doesn't do it on its own. So I actually do need like as much space as I had before. Come on, let's see how this unfolds. Unfolds fine. Unfolds a little bit weird right now because these are so weak. And when this pulls at all, it just falls down. What is that mechanism like? That is a weakness. Or if it's two tabs that just fold into each other. What if it's two really soft points? It adds weird stuff happening, but instead of having it be a single tab that's inserting on either side, what if it's an intended, like, folded bit? Where, see how, like, soft and smooth that is as a folding sort of thing? Because you're just having, instead of one pivot point and one sliding sort of thing, just have it a set pivot point up here, over here, and over here. You'll get a very flat folding book. Maybe? Or if it's even just pages that, well, then you don't have a, you have to have some, it could be a thing to explore. Double up the pivot points. Let me just okay. Just gonna try cutting this ourselves. Myself. You're here, so it's us, but I'm gonna try cutting it myself. This will probably work better if I actually measure it and don't just go about it. So the idea would be, I need, yeah, let's draw this all over this. So you have this folded section, and you need to have two pivot points. It could either be that you have two, one pushes in this side and one, no, that doesn't really work. You would need that same sort of clearance issue that I have here with this, where these are folding on one another. So if I have something, could make for a much visually cleaner something or other. Tab here, tab here. Easiest thing for that is if it's just like two that are going in like this, but the issue comes when you have another tab going this direction, intersecting, and then something down here. It could be folded. I don't like the folding. It's gonna wear pretty easy. I like the tab idea, but I might just be getting overly complex for no real reason. If it's a long folding something, because I need, if I'm doing a Coptic stitch, I need it to have a folding point down here. If I have, let's just sketch out something that could have two things that latch into it. I had this little sketched out thing, but that was for like latching one into the other. So if there's one that, see this, that makes another pretty weak point if I'm going further in there. if it slides up. That doesn't work either. I've thought of that before. Doesn't work. The only way that something like that works is if it's a tab like this, which is possible. And if it is a tab like this, let me just try cutting this out a little bit, seeing how it feels. Okay, so maybe. It's more or less what I have already established here, but doesn't require as much of a straight single shot of a page. It's broken up into more pieces, more assembly, perhaps a little less elegant, but And the idea being that this also has whatever sort of slit up here. And I got a decent amount of measurements to work out, but and I would need to have a latch, but I think it could work. What time is it? 3:30. Okay, we're just gonna try another structural thing. Okay. Make it so I don't have issues with everything folding and stuff's not as weak of paper and stuff just sort of falls into place. And if there is a magnet that's in the mix as well, then that means that it should stay open. So now let's open up Cuddle. So let me come down here. Firefox. Fall down to 2. Okay. Firefox is fine. I need to come over here. Okay, so this is the last iteration. Stuff works fine, but I've got new stuff that I want to figure out and will be annoying to work out, but I will get it done. Okay. So file, new, and check to see. Okay, this is loading the new guy. So let's pull in a rectangle. This is not Untitled Project. This is 2023-05-09- multi-pivot book 01. Alright, now let's get a parameter. This is spoke length. And we're going to default to this being 3.5. That is going to be the inside page. And then this will be paper thickness. This is just what I have built in for areas where they sort of go about. Paper thickness is going to be 0.03, I think is what I have the paper thickness as in this guy. Yep. And then I added another 0 so I could adjust it slightly. And what's the formula for flap center? Okay. This one's going to be a little bit odd. So So this is total flat length, spoke length. It's going to tell me don't have page angle. So this is page angle. Page angle will fall up here, and this will be, I need number of pages. Pages. In this case, I'm going to start with 16. And add a comment. Must be even for Coptic stitch. Okay, page angle is 360 divided by num pages. Okay, and that's total flap length. This might get a little bit messier having more pages, so let's actually pull this down to 10. Inside spoke can be much longer because I just need an uninterrupted thing that's folded in half. Okay, total flap length. Now, as if they're on the same angle, there's going to be a little bit of, how can I figure this out? It might be something I just have to build in a buffer as I'm going around. Okay, so this rectangle, it's going to be, position is 0, 0. Scale is spoke length. Actually, it's position spoke length divided by 2. Let's give this a fill for my own benefit. This is spoke page. Now I need to start working out some stuff. So how did I actually just do this just now? The basic form is, they could be on about the same angle or same location. Just has to be a difference between the two. Let's make a page thickness, page height. And for that right now, it's going to be 1.0. And let's take this and actually give it its page height. And okay, so now there's not too much going on with this in this moment. I need to figure out a few things. Let's make, this is center pages. Now let's pull another rectangle and let's make this. Okay, total flap length is going to be how these two things interact. Total flap length is going to be just half and half. Okay, so this is flap A. This is flap A. And I'll need this as some other parameter, but P1, I'll just leave it as is. Okay, this scale is total flap length divided by 2. and this is page height, and this is flap a center. Now let's add a fill for my own sense of well-being, and what we need is, for this guy, more or less it's going to be the same function, just on 2 different points. Okay, so what do I need? I need a rectangle that the width is going to be paper thickness, and pivot tab center. Pivot tab insert center. This is going to be page height divided by 4. Pivot tab insert center, and this location is going to be flap total flap length divided by 2. No, this is divided by 4 plus paper thickness divided by 2. Now we need another rectangle, and this will be this at 1.1. This rectangle too. This is pivot tab insert center B, A, and this one is the position is negative flap length minus paper thickness. And this is pivot tab insert flap. Now let's get pivot tab insert width. It's just going to be page height divided by 4. I don't know. This is total flap length divided by 4 plus page paper thickness, and then This is pivot, tab, insert, width. Pivot, tab, insert, pivot, tab, insert, width divided by 2. Let's make this divided by 6. I think it can be that thick and it'll be fine. Okay, and then the height. What if I take this as... Let's pull in a circle, and this circle is going to be pivot, tab, insert, center. Times 2. You know what? Pivot tab. Let's come up here. Pivot tab, insert center. Page height divided by 4. I can change these parameters as it goes along, but this is pivot tab, insert slit, and this is going to be pivot tab, insert center, times 1.2, and that is what this guy gets to be. Circle 1, this is pivot tab, insert slit, times 2. And this location is total flap length divided by 4 plus paper thickness divided by 2. What happens if I take these, modify, and do an intersect? And copy and paste a circle and make its Y location. Oh, this is what is this location? This is pivot tab, insert center divided by 2. Yeah. Okay, then take this guy. Negative pivot tab, insert center divided by 2. I think that should work. Let's give this a fill. Modify. Yeah, repeat and give this a fill. And give it a little bit of a take this guy, modify rounded corner. Just a tiny bit. It's actually, this is pivot, tab, insert. Take this group. No, wait, no, I want this group. And let's take this location and fudge with it. I also want, yeah, I just want this whole thing. Why can't I copy this whole thing? Gotta change these locations. Let's just change this. This is going to be shifted over transform minus total flap length divided by 4. Yeah, and let's take off the mirror repeat. And for my own sake, no, it's already built in. Okay. I don't need that for anything. It's just doubling up on this guy. Let's delete that component. Okay, new tab. This is flap B rectangle. And we need this to be total flap length divided by 2. Position is what it is. Now we need, this is flap B center. We need a new guy. Oh wait, I need to change this to be page height. This will be the overlap tab. I think this can work. Okay, and let's add a new component. this will be I need to make a new parameter. This will be and I'm going to just make this paper thickness ×2. That can change in the future. So this guy is pivot insert split and the height or the width is slit width. And this position is negative total flap length divided by 4 plus slit minus. Okay, these are pulling. This is plus. I'm gonna have to do adjustments on this. This is pivot slit A. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a gap here. This is going to be height plus paper thickness, which gives me a little bit more. So this is help a tiny bit. Now let me see whether or not should be okay. This is something that I'll find out later. Okay, so that is what's having the tab inserted into it. Now I need that's fine where it is. Okay. Now this is gonna be let me come back to the center page, and I need the scale is slit width, and the height is pivot tab insert slit height. This location is spoke length plus pivot, or no, just slit width divided by 2, and the location is 0. This is pivot slit width, pivot slit, just leave it at that. Now what I need to figure out is let's make a rectangle that is going to allow for this thing to go around it. Let's make this pivot O2 center. This is page height divided by 2.5. That might be a little bit short. Scale, whatever on that. This is pivot O2 center. Needs to be more than that. Okay. Times 0.8. We'll try it at that for now. This location is spoke length plus slit width divided by 2. Actually, minus. And this one should also be minus. This is pivot center 2. Spoke page. Spoke length divided by 2. That's not position. I want spoke length minus slit width. Okay, now this goes down here, a new rectangle that is going to be, just make it page height. Page height, and this is pivot width. Okay, and make this 0. Make this spoke length plus slit width. Now we need this is pivot insert O2. Both of these are going to have a fill. Pivot insert needs to have a new thing applied to it, which is going to be coming from flat B. New rectangle that will be need a new parameter. Nope. Yes, do need a new parameter. This is going to be pivot O2 slit height. And this is going to be pivot O2 center. And just if it's that. Times 1.2. Let's see how this goes. So this position is flat total flap length divided by 4 minus slit width. Divided by 2? Yeah, okay. Scale slit width. Height is pivot O2 slit height, and this is 0. Pivot slit B. Now center pages, I need a circle. This circle is scale pivot slit pivot O2 slit height times 2. Its position is spoke length minus slit width divided by 2. This position is good, but that's what is this? Pivot O2 center divided by 2. And let's copy and paste this guy. And this is, let's put a negative on this, times -1. Oh, that's not what I need. I don't need an overlap tab. That's not what I want. I want to copy and paste this and put a negative on this one. Actually, not that one. Negative on that one. And give this a... Nope, that's not what I want as this. I want this pivot insert. both of those a fill, and give this a intersect. And then this is pivot insert group. And these guys get a union. And this gets a difference. And then this whole thing gets a mirror repeat. And a union. And a round corners, rounded corner. And then I need to pull in a line. And this line is score line, which it exists at 0 and negative page height divided by 2. I could potentially save time if I do this after the fact. Page height divided by 2. And give this a fill that is red. Conceivably this works. I want to see how this falls out. Overlap tab. Oh, I need to include something that gives this some free space. Do I? If these are around each other and they can lie flat-ish, when that goes flat, I do need that. Okay. So let's come in here and what is this guy? Copy this guy, paste, delete the mirror repeat. Let's rotate this, transform rotation 180. Pull this to the top. Come on. And then what's happening with this guy? Modify. Okay, I can expand it pretty easy. So in its current location, I actually don't need this guy. Negatable. Position is flat total flap length divided by 4. How do I want to do this? I think that's okay. modify expand distance paper thickness. This one, these are union. Modify difference. Do not know how this is going to ultimately function. I got round corners on this guy. Let me throw round corners on this guy. Modify round corners. Rounded corner just makes it a tiny bit smoother, and if I want it to, I can do something else with it. You know what? Let's look at the score line. Score line will come into Cricut file. Center pages. Location is 0, 0. Flap A. This is 0, and this is spoke length plus pivot tab insert width plus you know, I'm just going to make a thing that is the flap A total length, and let's see what all goes into that. That is going to be flap A center. Actually, this should be a weird bit. Total flap length divided by 2 minus paper thickness. Let's just wait on that. Okay. So this is total flap length divided by 2 plus paper thickness times 2 plus pivot tab insert width times 2. Let's see how that goes in here. Plus total flap A total length divided by 2. Should put us right on the money. Yeah, it does. Okay. And flap B, add another parameter. Flap B total length is total flap length divided by 2 plus overlap tab width times 2. I think that gets me there. So let's come to Cricut file. There's just a tiny gap. I don't know what that tiny gap is about. It's okay for now. I want to know what it is. Okay. This is for that. Slit width. This is slit. Wait, oh, I think that's slightly wrong. This should be plus pivot tab insert width divided by 2. I think that's where I was wrong. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I had made a mistake in another point. Okay. Flap B is going to be location is spoke length plus flap A total length plus flap B total length divided by 2. Let's do center spread total length, and this is going to be spoke length plus you know what, let's make this spoke total length. Spoke length plus pivot tab insert width is really what it ends up being. So flap A1, this is spoke total length. This is spoke total length plus flap A total length, and this position is 0. Now let's see, is there any sort of overlap? There shouldn't. Where is it? Okay, there is not. Okay, last time I was dealing with 2 different tabs. Now these get a modify linear repeat, and the repeat is 0 here, page height here, repetitions page or num pages divided by 2. I need to double up on these tabs. So let's actually flap A and B, modify linear repeat. It's just 2, and the displacement is flap A total length plus flap B total length. These are much longer. This is very long. Number of pages. I want to see how this functions with something like 8. Anyway, I also need to bring in a line. This is score line, and the score line will be located at 0, negative page height divided by 2, and then this is 0, and num pages divided by page height num pages times page height divided by 2 minus page height divided by 2. Oh wait, num pages, whatever, it works. And this is going to be red. And for my own sense of well-being, make this red too. So as I change the number of pages, that is affected, and let's, nope, that's wrong. Okay, so what am I trying to get at? Score line. It worked for the other thing, but it actually is wrong. Negative page height divided by 2, that gets me where I need to be. And then I want this to be num pages times page height. Let's get this num pages divided by 2 times page height minus page height. Okay, because it's offset. Minus 1. So let's see how this goes. That's wrong. Okay, maybe that's what my issue was. Minus page height divided by 2. I think my issue was that I just had that wrong. So let's try adjusting the page height. That's working fine. And page number, if it's even, it's fine. 10. Okay. Page spoke length. Let's make this shorter. Let's have it be 3 for the moment. And then what does a cover height end up being? Or cover width? Anyway, let me how do I want to handle this? This is center pages. Center pages, that's fine. Canvas origin, modify, linear repeats, displacement, 0 tab, page height, and the number is page, or num pages divided by 2. And let's take this score line, copy, paste this here, and then tabs. And this group displacement is 0. Flap A, I'm gonna make this negative flap A total length divided by 2, and this one is flap B total length divided by 2. Linear repeat. Repetition is displacement, flap B total length plus flap A total length, and then another modify linear repeat. This will be 0 page height, and the total number is num pages divided by 2. Those don't need any score. So these are less than 10 inches wide. Let's bump this up. If I'm going for this page height, if I'm doing say it's 16, spoke length, let's make it 4. And should be good. Okay. I'll try this out. I want to see how it functions. SVG for Cricut. File, export SVG for Cricut. This will be on 2 pages instead of 1. Desktop, live design, book fold down 2. Pieces in here. Open up Cricut Design Space. Yep, sorry about that. Could be super off with all my measurements on all this, but or I could be right, and this could function nicely in a different way. I don't know yet. I don't know. Just don't know. Center pages A, that one's pretty straightforward. Upload this guy. Upload another guy. This one is a score mark. This is attached. And let's make this. And we're going to be dealing with an 8.5 by 11. This one will also be 8.5 by 11. Future things, if I'm making a bunch of these, then I'll want to readjust how things are going. But is on. Stock and hit go. I guess I'm gonna have to do adjustments, but I'm curious about this. Just waiting on it to cut. It's a slow process, but faster than if I ever tried to do this by myself, or by hand rather. And I also have to cut 2 of these out. This is a blank page. Mostly done cutting. Okay, now we have to cut the other piece. Still waiting on these to finish cutting. Moment of truth. Well, actually, I'm gonna take these off so that I'm not dealing with a sticky or semi-sticky surface, because that is annoying in its own way. Okay, let's see if these fit together. The idea is that this guy can sort of just slide up in there. It's going to be annoying to assemble, but it should work. The curiosity is how well it does or doesn't. It's an interesting form. I feel like these are slightly off center. I'm not sure why. Anyway, I'm going to assemble these here and then insert them, which means I've got a sec to do some stuff. Or is it? No, that's how it's got to go. That's how it's gonna go. Okay. It's like that. I want to see how it folds or doesn't. Slits don't need to be this wide, I don't think. You can probably decrease that. This is a more awkward thing to assemble. Okay, these tabs could be different because I'm finding that the easiest way to insert these is just bend it a bit, push down, and then over. So I don't need as much clearance if I'm using the fact that the paper can bend. That overlap is significant and significant enough to sort of like play with it too much. Okay, now let's insert more of these guys. I think once this is all assembled, it'll feel a little bit more structurally sound, but in this moment, it is pretty loose. Okay, yeah, that's just one more. I'll put these in backwards. That's why those are getting more structurally sound, because these have to be inserted sequentially. It's A then B, because otherwise it will not fold. Okay. So that was not how that needs to go. There is an order to this as well. Getting closer. Aha. Okay. I don't know if this is the best form, but it works. Where is the one that has a date on it? That means it's the last one. Let's see how this folds. Folds relatively smooth. Kind of. It folds if you give it a little bit of force. There are some odds and ends that aren't perfect in there, and I don't know why. I think that the distance is a little bit off, but as far as an opening mechanism that is smooth and falls into place, it's real nice. So where is this getting caught up? It's getting caught up when it's catching a spot or two. This is pushing. Might need to, I think I need to move this insert just slightly up. Okay, so and overall, this can probably be a little bit tighter for that gap there. It's mostly the gaps where the little guys are inserted. So for that, that's flap A. I can either, let me take the flap center, pivot tab center, tab insert center. Let's make this 1.2. No. It's the slit. Where's the slit? Pivot tab insert slit plus paper thickness divided by 2. And that should make let's what if this is just the pivot tab slit height? I think that should help. Because right now these are a little bit loose. What else to consider? That's the main bit that's loose. Also, once those are in place, those latch the other sections. And adjust. Which guy did I want to adjust? Wanted to move this guy again. Let's move its location plus slit width divided by 2 minus paper thickness divided by 2. Should help. That's the main part where I'm having a little bit of issue. And then separate this out. As far as, okay, I think I have just, think about this with a magnet, just whoop. I think it'll be nice. The only other thing that I need to do is get this, I don't need this to be quite as wide, so let's decrease the, these guys have more than enough clearance. That could be paper thickness divided by 2. I want to take the, where's the overlap tab width? Let's divide this by 8. I think that's more than enough. It should be. And then let's take the, what's the other thing that I wanted to adjust? Slit width. Doesn't need to be so large. Let's make it times 1.5. It might make things a little bit tighter, but I think it's a better choice. So that's been adjusted, and then I wanted to make the total flap length. This one I need to pull up a bit. We're gonna make this 0.05. Or wait, let's take this and what's the thickness of this guy? Or the thickness of the magnet. What's the magnet thickness? I wrote it down on something somewhere. Let me just measure it and get a more precise thing in inches. Zero 0.118 inch. Zero 0.472 inch. 0.236 inch. Okay. So magnet thickness. Did I? No, it didn't double up. It just has an additional one in there. So the thickness is get another parameter. Magnet thickness. This is 0.12. And flap length adjustment will be num page actually needs to go down here. Num pages or magnet thickness divided by num pages. And this is total flap length. And let's make magnet thickness it's magnet thickness times 2, and this is minus flap length adjustment, just a tiny bit, but it should help, because what I'm imagining is with a cover in there that adds a distance. It's pretty solid, pretty does what it needs to do, but it can be better. But folds up pretty good, especially if you had a rigid side on either end, and just well, bam, you got a circle. Having a looser pivot point solves my problems because, okay, good for now. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll come back in with this printed out a little bit different. I also might try to stitch it together and put covers on it to see how it feels with the magnet. With that, I'll also need to make different tabs on the inside covers, but it should be pretty straightforward. These don't need to latch at all, they just need the tension in this direction. You get a circle going, need to adjust the placement of a couple tiny things. Oh, and I can tighten up this. I'll go ahead and do that before I forget. So this is paper thickness divided by 2. I should still clear it. It's not as necessary because there's more tension happening. I could probably get away without that element even. I don't think I need it. I don't think I need it. I think I can get rid of it. So let's just take this, turn it off. I do need them to be variable sizes, but that's what that is. Okay, so that's differences for tomorrow. Oh wait, I do need it for folding up. Okay, yeah. Don't get rid of that. I was thinking like flattening out, don't need it, but I do need it to fold. Because if it folds, it's got to clear that. I can't have this unless I like go like, wait, let me think. So if this is like this, I come in and insert this. It doesn't need to clear it because it's not folding like this. Okay, I think I'm actually okay. We'll test that tomorrow and see whether or not it's advantageous to have it. So right now it's just getting caught on it here and there, but if it's permanently below it, it's a different thing for assembling this, but it makes for whatever else. Okay, so got this one. Yeah, so tomorrow working on just updating some little bits. This does get weirdly thick. I will need a second thing in there for... I'll come to it when I come to it, but this folding is pretty nice. This is the smoothest opening and closing I think I have so far, but it does have the most pivot points, nodes, I think is what you can call them. So that's planned for tomorrow. Spiel time. If you want to pull this up, buy stuff from me, you can go to my web store, traceloops.com/store. If you want to purchase something and have it shipped outside of the US, you can email me, traceloops@traceloops.com. You can also email me with comments, concerns, questions, curiosities, commissions, etc., etc. Again, that is traceloops@traceloops.com. If you want to watch this stream or other streams in full, you can do so by going to the live section of my YouTube channel. If you want to follow me on other platforms, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Spotify, all of those places. I am Traceloops, TRACELOOPS. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Traceloops, where you will find high-resolution versions of artwork that I create during streams. You'll also find a selection of tutorials, and then at higher tiers, new songs from me weekdays, and at the highest tier, you get a monthly postcard from me with original artwork on the front, little message on the back, and a discount to that aforementioned web store. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I am going to head out. Have a good evening. Music stopped. Good time as any. So have a good evening. Adios.